I'm NickyAdopt and I have walked 100 km around Singapore. Let me give you context on why I did the hike in the first place. I believe that birthdays are very important because people my age, now that I'm 25, plug for my video that I've made this year, please go watch it if you're lost. People being 20 years old-ish are telling me that birthdays become very insignificant the older we grow up because, you know, your friends start to split up, you have a closer friend group and your friend group sees each other so often that like there's no point in celebrating birthdays, and you don't get those birthday celebrations like you did when you were younger where, you know, people would throw big parties or like will have a cake and there will be a completely different day. Which brings me to my next point. 365 days a year, it can be completely the same, but I do believe that everyone, because you spawned into this world, created a whole different new history in the entire universe, that you are here in this world, and that was already different from any other day in the entire lifeline in this universe for you especially. Even though that you grow older, I do believe that everyone should spend a day and celebrate their birthday no matter what they want to do. It just has to be different. You don't have to, you know, celebrate on a yacht, eating fresh caviar out in the ocean, big party with a lot of like friends. No, if you wanted to, you can do a 1,000-page Sudoku thingy in your room, or maybe a 1,000-word cross puzzle. Or you could be a person who wants to sit on top of Marina Bay Sands, admire the sunset while eating an ice cream, then it starts to rain but you continue eating your ice cream, ignoring the rain because you want to make your money's worth. At the same time, you want to enjoy the moment the main character feeling. Doesn't matter what you do to celebrate your birthday, as long as you are getting it out there to make that particular day different than everything else. That is what I strive for. Since I do hiking, I'm like, let's just do 100 around Singapore, because I've never heard a lot of people, I've never heard anyone in basically my friend group who says they do 100 km walking for fun around Singapore. Like, no one does that. So I thought, why not? I'm someone who kind of likes to do these kind of things, so it is in my nature to, you know, put myself out there, do something completely different. But let me break it down to you in terms of little sections to how I decided that I wanted to walk the 100. The first one is the mental preparation. After I said I wanted to walk 100, I told myself I want to walk 100. I told my parents I'm going to walk 100. I told my friends I'm going to walk 100. Told social media that I'm going to walk 100, and I went to the mirror and said, dude, you just told everyone in the entire world that you're going to walk 100. Are you sure you know what you're doing? And I said, no, but yes, I am going to do it anyway. I am going to complete it. I'm not going to be doing it for the time. I'm not going to be doing it because people tell me to. Even if I don't complete the 100, I can always try again. I've always talked about on this channel that the art of progression is, if you cannot complete something now, there's always another day to train. There's always another attempt that you can try. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be too hard on yourself. You have a whole life ahead upon yourself to sort of like try again. Which brings me to my next point on safety. Singapore is very safe, in my opinion. Anywhere in Singapore, 25 km away, there will be one hospital. That's one thing I took note of. The other thing is that I was walking through a lot of HDB neighborhood areas, which meant there were kopitiams around, there were shopping malls around, there were toilets around, there were necessity like shops, provision stores, everything around. In case whatever in my backpack wasn't enough, I could have gone to any of these places to, you know, restock on food. At the same time, on top of all of this, I did tell my parents, and they are on this with me. I will always tell them regularly how close I am to checkpoints and what happens in case of emergency and I don't really turn up at the designated areas at what time. They would know. So safety is already covered. Which brings me to my next point on the unfair advantage, which I was talking about just now. I have been hiking for years. This is not new to me. So I didn't really come up with this idea suddenly to think that, oh, I'm gonna show off that some big guy can walk a 20k. No, I really love doing this and I have trained up for this. If you were wanting to go on a hike like this, please train up. Please have the safety precautions and please don't think about doing this right now. You will either never want to do this in your entire life ever again, or you just don't want to walk, or you will injure yourself. So I do recommend that you think about it first and really consult your doctor or your trainer if you are going to a gym. Yeah. Don't. The next one was route planning. I would cross Singapore and cover as much ground as possible, and I would end up somewhere in the city. The last one was the pack load. My intention was to carry 20 kg, reason being with my sleeping stuff, with my food, first aid kit, with my extra shoes, a lot of things that I really wanted to carry. And I would admit that I am not commando. Even though I had the mentality of one, I don't have the physiques of one. So that was really overkill. So yeah, that was the whole preparation that I had gone through before I went on to the hike. But now let's talk about the hike itself. So due to the lack of footage, because I was only enjoying the hike, I didn't know I was going to make a video anyway. You have a few Insta stories with a commentary of the hike with key pointers of who I met, what I did, and where did I go. Alright, so I started my hike at Gulf Circle my dad sent me, and we started off at 12 a.m. exactly on the dot. Alright, here we go. This is the Gulf Station MRT, the start. Here we go. Where I made my way to Boon Lay, the first leg of the 100 km, to take a rest over there before continuing all the way to Beauty World, where I collapsed there for around 45 minutes. Just reached my 20 km, the first round. Was tough. And also meeting a friend. From there, we carried on till Grungy to take another rest before continuing on to Woodlands Interchange, where I had a burger because I was hungry and I needed to fill up with the lack of food. From there, we continued all the way to Sembawang Hot Springs, where my friend left me. I also took a rest before continuing all the way to Yishun Swimming Complex to take a shower before continuing again all the way to Bishan Park, where I had to clock some mileage and also meet my parents for dinner. They brought me some hot food. That concludes the first 52 km. I'm just gonna knock out here for a while and then I'm gonna get back on the trail. Rested a while and I continued again all the way. I stopped at the biopark because my feet was painful, but then I still continued all the way to National Stadium where my feet was painful again, but I continued again. I still made it to East Coast Park. Here's where the mat screwed up, but I had to go to Siglap in the morning, meet a friend down there. I collapsed in McDonald's again for around 10 minutes before carrying on the hike. I carried on to ECP and again back to the city. This is the bulk of it, where I had to clock the mileage around Marina Bay Sands. I stopped here around twice before making it to the end at Nafa Campus 1. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the whole 100 km around Singapore. Some of my friends met me at the end. I completed it. Woo! And yeah, it was painful. It was very painful. It has been a whole journey. And I believe overall 100k for an obese person is really a no-go for anyone basically. But will I ever do it again? Yes. This Christmas 2021.